Guys, stop for a minute. Take a look at your wallet. Your wallet says a lot about you. And let me ask you a question. Is it time for an upgrade? Our friends at Ridge are here to help you step up your pocket game. This incredible wallet is light, sleek, and industrial, but it doesn't fold or awkwardly bulge out of your back pocket. It goes into your front pocket. Ridge wallets pull up to 12 cards, plus all the cash that you need. You can choose from over 30 colors and styles. That includes carbon fiber and burnt titanium. It is the best wallet you can buy, and you don't just have to take my word for it because there's over 40,000 five-star reviews. I was skeptical at first, but once I tried it, I never went back, and I'm sure you won't, but guys, there's no pressure. Test it out for 45 days. If you don't love it, send it back, get a full refund. If you decide to keep it, and you will, there's a lifetime warranty. Go to ridge.com/Chael or just click the link in the description below and get 10% off with free worldwide shipping and returns. Let's relook at Tony Ferguson's performance, right? Because it was very different. It was a very different battle that each of those guys had. Tony Ferguson, Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler had to get his hand raised. He had to win. It would have hurt Chandler to go to a decision. It would have hurt Chandler a lot if it was a split decision. And this is still assuming Chandler wins. It just would have. In perception, whether it affected his ranking or not, in perception, it would have changed a lot of things. Like, Chandler really needed to go out and win. Tony did not. Tony needed to look good. Tony needed, if he could win a round, huge success. He would win the fight, massive upset. I think it was 3.5 or even a 4-1 underdog when this thing went off. But Tony was playing a different game. Tony's litmus test and what he needed to do, prove and show to our community was very different than what Chandler needed to do, prove and show. Tony succeeded. I do not have the scorecards in front of me. That's out there somewhere. I don't have it. I think Tony won the first round. I mean, that's official one way or the other, right? It's not our opinion at this point. That either happened or it did. I think Tony won the first round. I think he should have won the first round. Now, stay with me on this. It's important that you understand the takedown, while that looks to be a really big deal to the fight fan, the threat of the takedown is the danger. The threat of the takedown is much more dangerous than the actual action of the takedown. How does that pertain? Well, I'll tell you why. Tony possibly has never looked this good on his feet, at least not in a first round before. He has not been as effective on his feet, particularly in a first round, for about 3 years. Why Tony looks so good on his feet? Now, there was a new face in Tony's corner. Did you guys happen to notice that? Is that something you even pay attention to? If you do, and you did, then you saw it. There was a new face. Who was that guy? Well, that was Tony's old college wrestling coach. And Tony spoke very openly to the media leading into this fight that he's not thrilled with the way he's been performing, that he needs to get back to his roots, and he talked about the wrestling. He talked about bringing in this coach. He talked about what he's working on in the practice room. Now, before you think, Chael, seems like a waste of time. Tony did not wrestle offensively at all, and he did not successfully wrestle defensively. That's the physical side. Mentally, Tony believed he could stop the takedown. Very important that you understand this. If you want to know why Tony's strikes were all landing for the first time in a period of time, because the first time in a period of time, he was not worried about the takedown. And don't think you need to correct me. Well, Tony couldn't stop him, and Chandler only went for one, and Chandler got him down. Talking about the psychology side of it, Tony did not have a worry of the threat of the takedown here. Play this game with me. Say you guys, really good wrestler. You, personally, you're a good wrestler. You've never boxed a day in your life. You've never been to a boxing gym. You've never put gloves on. You've never put a mouthpiece in. You're going to go into a gym. You're going to go spar with a boxer. And the boxer's really good at boxing. You're going to go do that. You're going to think, this is going to be terrible. What a terrible experience. Okay, now let's do that exact same game, except we add a rule, which is we tell the boxer, hey, you guys are going to spar, and it's just going to be boxing. But you can do a takedown. If he wants to, he can take you down. You're still not likely to get the best of the boxer, right? This isn't a miracle that happens, but I will share with you, your experience in that sparring session will be very, very different, favoring you. The offense and the output of the boxer if he has to worry about the threat of a potential takedown. We have seen a number very excellent kickboxers and boxers come over to our sport. We have seen them not only dominate them, we have seen them lose within the very first round. And before you go, yeah, they got taken down and pounded out and they didn't know what they were doing. No. They got knocked out, lots of them, quickly. Much more successful, much more decorated, pure strikers have been knocked out in the very first round. Why? Well, it's the threat. It's the threat of the takedown, the fear of the unknown, the anxiousness of going somewhere that you don't want the fight to be. And it will change. It will change your reactions. It will change what you're looking for. It will change how you move. It will change your own output. The threat of a takedown was eliminated. Tony, right or wrong, believed he was right that he did not have a threat of a takedown by Chandler, which is why all of those strikes were landing. Just so you understand that. If anybody looks back on Tony, I mean, there were some really good things that Tony did here. And what was going to happen in that fight and where it was going to go. I mean, it was one of those kicks. Nobody could take that shot. And the crowd was on their feet, and people have called, that's the greatest knockout that I've ever seen. You don't know yourself very well. Like, to kick a guy in the face is anything but super impressive. Any big knockout that you have that brings a crowd to his feet and people are shocked, and guys like Chael are talking about it days later, it's not the actual technique that did it. It's not even the reaction to the technique, right? Which in this case was Tony laying there for a scary and uncomfortable amount of time. That's not actually what it was. What has those huge knockouts that get remembered for generations or even broken down and put on highlight reels is 100% predicated on what happened prior, which only means, was the knockout a surprise? This knockout was a huge surprise. The reason it was a surprise is because Tony was doing so well. I cannot prove for you, there's proof is out there, I cannot prove for you that Tony was winning the fight, but I think that I'm right. I think that he won the first round. So when you come out for the start of the second, you think it's going to be rinse and repeat and more of the same, which it should be, right? Two guys doing the same thing. You'd be very reasonable to believe you're going to get an extension and you're going to get more of the same. You're going to repeat what you've already seen, and then you don't. Boom, kick to the face, fight is over, dramatic fashion. It's what dreams are made of. But before we do that, and we are right to give Chandler the credit, and we are right that Chandler dealt with a lot, and we are right that Chandler had a strategy. Chandler deserves all the shining of his wheels that he's getting. I just think Tony did something really good too. I do, guys, I do. I think Tony really went out there and did something well, even when he got underneath Chandler. Watching him using those elbows, watching how Tony brings his knees inside, like that'll mean a lot to the people that really understand jiu-jitsu and fighting what they're seeing, but that's just not what most guys do. That's very abnormal. That's Tony. That's Tony at his best when he's out there being creative. He's out there being mysterious. He's out there being different. He's combining grappling with strikes. Like, it's really rare. But what do you do with Tony now? I think the answer is Dan Hooker. And the only reason I'm not begging that it be Dan Hooker and I get my way is I've got inside information. I know that Dan Hooker's name is being associated with the return of Conor McGregor. I like that match. And many people have said that Tony Ferguson should take his oars out of the water. Go and take a break and come back. You're still a top 10 guy. You're only fighting the absolute best. Let's revisit this thing. All of those are true. All of those are true. But you've now removed options from the table. In fairness, looking at everything, which would include never doing it again, that's when you've kept all options on the table. And no fighter will determine the end of their career based on the performance or the outcome of their last contest, but perhaps they should. No fighter will ever talk about I'm done until 20 other people have said it first, and the fighters push through it and reassured and one more guy. Like, there's just a process. But there's also a time where everybody is going to have their last one. There is a time, even within success, that a fighter is eligible to raise his hand and say thank you all for the memories and goodbye. It's just not how it's done, right? It turns into, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is my identity. Oh, and by the way, it's my job. Somebody's paying me to do it. I'm eligible. I'm going to go do it. Like that. That's a normal part of it that I don't begrudge at all. I'm just pointing out for you that it does exist. And everything needs to be looked at. And as hard and sad as it is, and as much as nobody wants to go out unless they go out with a victory. Who does? You could probably find them, but the meaningful guys, the main eventers, the top of the bill guys, it's been done by Lennox Lewis. It's been done by George St. Pierre. Who else? And please don't throw Mayweather on that list, because Mayweather's still popping up here and there. It doesn't appear to be done. One of those things, I'm not calling for anybody's retirement. I'm certainly not calling for Tony's. I am supportive of the idea that all options are on the table, and if you're trying to have that conversation, you're trying to have it in a mature action, then make sure that you truly put all options on the table, which include, I'm done.